here for too, and then we can like they're down to
And then
stay
we
up
can
late.
vibe.
So
Yeah, I'm down too. Because I know
too.
once I start drinking, I'm gonna be like fire.
Me too. Yeah.
But it's pouring.
For views.
Or at least when Tony and I walked by the door, it was pouring.
Well, you can
But
wear the
I'm
hat.
honestly, yeah, and honestly, I'm down to just find stuff in here and not go
Close,
super far.
yeah.
I don't.
Well, and that's why I got the sweatshirt because I feel like with that mini skirt with the sweatshirt would actually be kind of a vibe, and then if I take it off, I have the mesh thing. So, but it would say.
And I was also thinking maybe when we're done, immediately going and getting alcohol because we could go out around here and just go to the farm and invite everyone
we
up.
need it's so much cheaper. I don't know why.
Or get like coffee cups and we can sit in the lobby or come down here and sit.
I think so.
I don't like. I've stayed in hotel and they like that more usually because it's loud in rooms.
Yes, yeah. I think
they're so chill with
Dina
that.
was like, do not leave after your
Yeah.
tournament. So if you guys want to just go, I can like Venmo or whatever.
I mean, it's open late because her game's gonna be longer.
But I feel like
she's gonna be playing a lot longer.
I feel like we should go right away because every day we keep saying we should go and then we don't.
No,
go.
I know. Well, because her game will probably go at least an hour longer than ours.
True.
Because she
Yeah.
starts later and her games are longer.
True. Okay. All right. Yeah. So we should just
speed it.
go and do that.
Yeah, I was like, if we get that, or me, yeah, we'll figure
Or
it
you
out.
and Kate can
Yeah.
go, like whatever. I also have the hotel key in there, depending on the vibes.
I can
Maybe should I just leave it on top?
leave
of
it on the
thing?
table because then I can grab it. I think everything, because like even if ye.
Sorry. Stitching on it?
Yeah, that's cute.
Oh, word, yeah.
I have the hat I stole from Kaden.
They had to get like a youth extra large though.
I brought
they
my
didn't have any adults.
my play chest now shirt.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, we should wear them
get
tomorrow.
we should get photos in it. That'd be cute.
I agree.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was so funny when Kaden had the shirt on and the sweatshirt over it.
I know, it was funny.
My interns designed this shirt, the
Yeah,
t-shirt I have.
it's so
Oh
good.
wow.
It's so
That's
good.
clever.
It's so funny.
Very clever.
The Sharks is live.
It's, oh gosh.
Wait, are we charging? Shit. Yeah.
There you go.
Because last time I plugged it in and it wasn't. Because I put the USB in the wrong one.
Oh,
I was like, whoopsie.
it's honestly impressive how long. I actually turned the brightness down on mine too.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it matters,
Well,
but.
I mean, this was the whole last stream.
Oh wow, yeah.
And like when I had my game I flagged, it was only at like 80. This thing's insane.
Yeah, that's dope.
It works so well. Kaden said he just got one as well. I mean, you can only just like $100, and it charges your
Honestly.
laptop.
Oh wow, that's
If you have
nice.
if you have like a Mac or something that can do USB, it'll charge a laptop.
That's cool.
Because it's like, I think it's like 15 iPhone charges. I calculated the watts and that because I was curious.
That makes sense. Yeah. Maybe just go quick. He's not. He's
No, I'll just wait and get a couple moves in and then run.
okay. All right. Good luck. Last one. Until the next one.
It was cute. No, so Dina and then we're asking like, oh Harley, like when I'm moving, I was like, I'm gonna like move here in the next month. She's like, ooh, and then her friend she's with is also moving here. Hopefully in the next
confirmed.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're trying to get her visas.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because Dina's like, I'm trying to get her.
Yeah. Well, she's like saying that like they're working on trying to get that figured out, and she'll most likely be coming. Jane or her also. Wait, come over here.
Parents can go ahead and move out while we're waiting for Grant to come make the final announcement.
That would make
That's what I think. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you
Yeah,
after
tell
too.
me after.
Anyway, it's a great tournament. We're glad you all came. Charlotte Chess will pay prizes once they're determined. So if you think you're getting money, go to the front desk.
Dave's got a code to scan for them to get paid electronically.
Bad news is if you win big prizes, they deduct taxes, but you get them back at the end of the year. It's a good problem to have. Hampton Roads Chess Association wants to make some announcements. That's right, yeah. Those are her clocks. Be nice to them. the sets when you're done, we'll collect them. And then some tournaments, they want you to haul them away, but you don't need to bother with that. Peter is coming around right now. Grant, Peter is coming. Peter is the executive director of the Charlotte Chess Center and Scholastic Association. He is more important than anybody. He's the founding member of it all.
He built this from the ground up.
Back in the day, there was nothing. Well, actually, it started, what, the Queen City Chess Association?
He's here.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Giannotto!
All right, thank you everyone for playing North Carolina Open. This is your final round. If you played the Blitz last night and happened to win a prize, please pick your prize up from the registration desk before you leave here today. You can stick around for main event prizes if you believe you're going to win a prize in the main event. You can stick around for those. If you have to leave, you can leave us your payment information at the front desk, and we'll eventually send the prizes out this week. So if you have to hit the road, that's also fine. Remember our cell phone policy, so this is your last reminder for that. And okay, we are ready to get the last round started. Thank you for playing. Good luck. Please start the clocks.
Hello everyone and welcome. Let's see if I remember how to commentate a chess game. We've got Moonzs here in the final round, round 6 of the North Carolina Open. We were just listening to the tournament organizers, the directors, and I believe the Charlotte Chess Center founder, Peter, who was just discussing the last round. It looks like we have a Caro Khan here from Moonzs with the black pieces and an exchange here from white. What's up, Grizz? What's up, Jen? Hello, Pizza Racer Cholato. Hello to Chuck. Mantar, good to see you all. Hope you're all doing well. Happy Sunday. And yeah, our opponent here is 987. So it looks like Moonzs won her previous round earlier this morning. So we're getting a tougher opponent here. The last two opponents I watched her play were both around 830. And Moonzs herself is around 529. And yeah, the opponent here is the highest that I've seen her play against, but probably not the highest that she's played against in this tournament. But yeah. This will be a tough task, of course, but she was doing quite well in her game at multiple points yesterday. Missing a couple of opportunities to perhaps convert a winning advantage, but it seems that she did well in round 5, getting a win. So let's see how she does here today in the final round with the black pieces up against a tougher opponent, a higher rated one, let's say, for sure. This is in Charlotte, indeed. North Carolina Open at the Charlotte Chess Center. So right now we're still in the opening. Players are playing relatively quickly. It is 100 minutes with 10-second increment. But she's doing great so far with her Caro Khan, just simply developing all of the minor pieces. We still need to get the dark square bishop out and castle the king, but she is quickly on her way to doing that. Looks like white is castling kingside, and I'm expecting e6 here to bring out her dark square bishop. Otherwise, maybe she's pushing the g-pawn, but then this bishop has fewer options of going back. So let's see what she decides here. Probably e6. E6 and bishop e7. Totally fine moves. Hope everyone's having a lovely weekend. I didn't really have any plans besides this, so this is my first weekend off since the end of the CCL season, so that's been nice. I've been basically eating Thanksgiving leftovers and lying in bed all day. And the last 2 days I've been watching Blues hockey. They've somehow won 2 games in a row, which is basically unprecedented. Somehow they've done it. Okay, and we have the bishop moving with a pen here. Bishop to g4. So this is probably not the most principled move here, as she's moving her already developed piece twice when she hasn't developed her dark square bishop. And she's already slightly behind in development. Here we see white just following through with their development. And perhaps we'll see knight to e5 next. And that's going to cost us some more moves, depending on how we react to that. Knight to e5 is a nice move, putting pressure on the pinned knight, as well as putting pressure on the bishop, which just moved. And this last move, just getting out of this pin, helps enable this move, knight e5. So she could capture the knight right now and then play e6 and bishop e7 again. Finally snowed in Colorado. Yeah, it snowed here just yesterday. Here for me is St. Louis, Missouri. But I intend on visiting Colorado next month. Maybe get some skiing in, visit some friends and some family. So good to hear that they're getting snow. Yeah, not sure if it's snowing in Charlotte though. Over on the East Coast. Maybe we can ask Moonzs after this round. But yeah, I do think that she should probably just play like e6. Although, to be honest though, after e6, knight e5, I guess she has to play rook c8. You need some way to defend. I mean, she could bring her queen out. Something like this. Okay, she's putting a question to the bishop. A6. And now we could see this trade here. White could either give up the bishop or they can retreat the bishop. These are pretty much the main options here. No snow in Stockholm. That's surprising to me. Stockholm seems like a place that would be cold. Up here in Washington. Yeah, that's a good point. So we're gonna try and alleviate some pressure here on our knight, and so that would make knight e5 not as bad. That being said, knight e5, and I would not recommend taking this knight if we haven't played e6 yet. So white does the, I think, standard thing here, just maintaining the pen, just tucking the bishop back, not trading it off quite yet. I think the computer likes trading it off. But I personally like to keep the pin. I like the bishop more than the knight. Okay, now she's played e6. So now there is this knight e5 move. She could have continued with b5. So knight e5, and I think we're going to have to give up our bishop. We would have to directly defend because this would be a second attacker on our knight. It's only defended once. And by pushing e6 now, the bishop can't come back to d7. So, as I was showing earlier, we'd have to either move the rook to c8 or move our queen to either c7 or b6 to help lend some extra protection to our knight. Now, there's a big mistake. You should not be tempted to play b5. And our opponent does find knight e5 here. So b5 is a mistake because white can take the knight intermezzo with the tempo against the queen first. So this b pawn is a very important defender of the knight. Now, if they take, imagine here, this is just some analysis just to show. Knight takes, if we try to move the queen, attacking the knight and the bishop, well, there's this really annoying knight takes b5 now. And if we take this knight, well, their knight comes back, defending their bishop, and now pinning the queen to the king. And if we take the knight here, they will simply take back with either bishop or queen, and we don't have time to take either of these pieces. So we would be losing some material there. So either in this stage, she should have continued with b5 or maybe taken the knight if we didn't want to deal with knight e5. So now we see e6, knight e5. And now I'm expecting one of these three moves. She should be moving the rook to defend the knight or the queen. If she does something else, like for example, developing the dark square bishop now, she's unfortunately allowing white to take twice on c6. And if they start with the knight, pawn takes, bishop takes, that would come with a fork. So now she goes b5, and this is the line I was just illustrating could lead to some problems. So chess in the opening especially, it's all about these little details, right? I mean, being a move short, it can be devastating because you just allow that extra tempo for your opponent to do something. And here we see knight takes on c6. She doesn't have time to take the bishop. She has to move her queen. And she can only hope that she attacks the knight and we see maybe the bishop retreat. And then at the end of the day, it's actually evens out and is not so bad. In fact, I think the computer preferred... Okay, yeah, I like sacrificing immediately better. Because you give up a knight for 2 pawns, but you're going to maintain this pen, and you'll be getting more material in the long run. So right now, we're 11 moves in. Moonzs seems perhaps already surprised or maybe miscalculated, but there's still a good chance that the opponent doesn't play this as devastating as they could have. In fact, they've already missed the best response, sacrificing the knight on b5. But as I was saying, just being a move short, right, or a move too slow, it comes back to this move here, I think. Bishop to g4. This bishop has already developed. This is a fantastic development square for the bishop. In fact, if she really wanted to, she could have moved it to g4 immediately in one go. The fact that she didn't do that, she should be more accepting of this position here for the bishop. and just focus on completing the development for the other pieces. So if we play e6 now, maybe the bishop can come to d6, and that would help deter the bishop or the knight from coming to e5. This extra move that we've given, even right here, she should play b5, because now she goes e6, but the knight comes to e5 now. So now she has to find rook c8 or queen c8, queen c7, queen b6. These are all moves that help defend the knight. She plays b5. Now the knight takes here. She has to find a new home for the queen. And it's not going to be guaranteed a loss of a piece. White has to find a sacrifice on b5. So they need to find some sacrifice. They might not do it. They might just bring the bishop back. Because right now, white has 2 pieces hanging. It'll cost them a piece, but they're going to get 2 pawns out of it. So we'll see what white decides to do here. Do we start with the French? That's actually not a bad guess. We started with a Caro-Kann. Okay, so let's see. White sees they have 2 pieces hanging. If they can figure out a way to reconcile that, they might find the sacrifice on b5, taking 2 pieces. Or sorry, 2 pawns for 1 piece. Otherwise, if they don't find it, then Moonzs will be getting the minor piece back, and all will be well. So, let's see. There's a world where white saves the knight. We take the bishop, and then they take with the knight. Okay, white has found the best move here. Knight takes b5. And so now we are going to be lined up opposite this bishop or queen, depending on how they take, and in some potential discoveries, which could be pretty bad. So, yeah, we were unfortunately a move or two too slow out of our development. So it comes to this bishop g4 move, and it's just a lesson learned. Here it's very important that she doesn't take the knight on c6. She should take on b5. And then after anything takes, she's going to have to either go uncastled, or maybe she can play her knight to d7. Even knight d7. There's potentially knight e5, which can be annoying. So, yeah, we're not setting ourselves up for the best middle game or end game here. And that's part of the learning process. Is that after the game, we're going to tell her, hey, don't move this bishop twice. And she'll never do that again. She'll learn e6, bishop e7, get castled. The faster you do that, the better prepared you'll be for these sort of middle game tactics that white is unfortunately playing on us right now. So she goes ahead and takes the knight. So technically she gets the piece back, but it's going to cost her 2 pawns. Plus some interest here, because now any knight move is going to come with a discovery. So there's definitely some danger here. Knight d7, as I was pointing out, probably not a good move after knight e5, which is actually a fork at that point. So what needs to be done here? Honestly, I'm thinking maybe there's bishop f5. There's really no good rook move. We might be tempted to play something like rook c8, but then there's going to be knight to a7. And that's going to pick up an exchange. That's going to be a discovery check. Another thing, we have to be cautious about putting the queen on d7. Honestly, the bishop and the knight work really well together to take up all these squares from the rook. So we just have to leave the rook on e8. We can't be tempted to move the rook now. So she might just play bishop e7, and then once we're checked, we might just move the king to f8. That might have to be the reality of the situation. So, yeah, there's really no rook move. There's not a lot of good queen moves. She could play bishop e7, hope that our opponent doesn't check us, and then we castle. Probably knight e5 is going to be the next move. So we also can't move this knight because then our bishop will be hanging. So this discovery will hit our bishop as well. It might be funny, she could bring her bishop straight back to f5, which is where it was. Also, this is the last round of the tournament, so she just played 5 rounds. Yeah, she's brought her knight back. This is a very logical move, trying to block this discover check, but it unfortunately walks into knight e5. Knight e5 is going to win material. It could win a lot of material. We could see maybe even the knight on d7 falling with check. Maybe she moves the rook to defend it, but it's better that white would just take the bishop for free rather than winning an exchange. But I mean, yeah, this was just a tough spot to be in. It was hard to find a good move here. I think bishop f5 was a move. Just hitting the queen. You're still having to deal with this discovery. But yeah, you don't want to go here because you're going to get forked. Although white's queen's also hanging, so who knows. But yeah, probably then you have to play king e7. It's a whole mess. The computer was saying the best move is bishop e7, but it's not normal to have to allow this check. So she plays knight d7. Opponent does find the best move, knight to e5, and she's gonna have to play like rook d8, or maybe now she can play bishop f5. Bishop f5, it's very peculiar because white can take with check, but we have queen takes actually. And now, if they take here, we take here. Maybe they take here. Maybe we take here. And then there's only one good move there for white is knight takes e6. But if they take and we take, I mean, that's actually crazy. We get an exchange out of 2 pawns and the material's even. So there's still hope. There's still hope. She could find bishop f5. This is actually a really key moment here. Let's see. Let's see if Moonzs finds it. Bishop f5. It's a strong move. Whenever we have something under attack, and it looks like it's really hard to defend, especially if we have 2 things that are under attack, it always helps to find, if you have a counterattack, something stronger, right? We're losing perhaps one of these 2 minor pieces. Well, they could be losing a queen. So we could save one of our hanging pieces with a tempo and then address our second issue. So if we bring the bishop back to f5 and our opponent tries to force things, that allows us to sacrifice our queen, knowing that their queen is also hanging. And then we could go down this rabbit hole where maybe we even win an exchange. So it could be interesting. It all depends if Moonzs finds bishop f5 here. Otherwise, yeah, it's a tough spot. I mean, already opponent has been playing some pretty good tactics, some good moves. Moonzs could strike back though against the queen, bishop f5. So we'll see. Yeah, white is up 2 pawns right now, which is not the end of the world either, but definitely a significant advantage from the start of the game. So they could just simply trade minor pieces, trade queens, and white would still be up an advantage. So, yeah, it really depends on this bishop f5 move. We were looking at this idea. There's this idea that white can just take this, and this is hanging. If we take, this is just a fair trade. We're just down 2 pawns here. So that's if white finds this. Maybe white takes here, as we were pointing out. Maybe takes here, and even like this, there's this. And then we take. And here we're only down 1 pawn. So that's, yeah, if they move their rook. They could move here, for example, but still, we can save our bishop. We could take a pawn. And here, if they take, we take, and we're still down 2 pawns, but these are doubled and isolated. But yeah, these 2 outside pass pawns are definitely a huge resource for white. But there's a lot of complications. There's a way that Moonzs could take this to an endgame where she has good chances of bringing it back. It all really starts with bishop f5, though. So it really feels like anything else she does, and she's just going to be losing more material. So, yeah, she might just go rook d8, rook a7, just trying to defend the knight, but she's going to lose a piece. She might be really concerned about this check, for example. But if we notice that we can attack the queen and save a minor piece at the same time, that's when we can really begin to put up our best defenses, potentially sacrificing our queen back. How did this happen? Checks Twitch. It was an opening mishap. Just a couple tempi short, I would say. So we had a Caro Kann. Someone was asking if it was a French. We have the Caro. And I would say here all things are going great, right? Opponent castles, and this is a clear sign to me that like we also should be trying to get castled soon. So here I would ideally play e6 to prepare the dark squared bishop to develop. Unfortunately, Moonzs, she goes in the wrong direction here. She's moving her already developed bishop. It looks like it's a good move, pinning the knight to the queen, but white just very logically develops their queen and gets out of the pen. And now Moonzs, again, we could play for e6, trying to get the bishop out. We play a6, was a totally fine move. They maintain the pen, and now here she either needs to take this knight or she needs to play b5. She plays e6 now, and now the knight comes into e5. And now here we really need to just defend this knight a second time. We unfortunately play b5 now, which is too late. She could have done it perhaps earlier, but now this allows for this really nice tactic that White found. They take on c6 intermezzo. Moonzs attacks the knight and saves the queen, but now White is able to keep a hold of the knight here by sacrificing on b5. So Moonzs gets a piece back, but she loses 2 pawns. But worse than that is there's this devastating discovery check. So she's going to basically go uncastled. She finds knight d7 to block the diagonal, but unfortunately it sets her up for this really nasty knight e5 move, which White has found and played. And here's where we need to find this bishop f5 move for our best chances of complicating the position and potentially even making White blunder. So right now she's using a lot of her time, which is good because it's a critical moment. Azur asking if Moonzs learned her lesson from yesterday. Well, she won her round 5 game before this, earlier today, which I didn't see, but I did see her result. So she did win her previous game. It seems that she's winning the games before I commentate, and then she's getting a tough opponent when I commentate. So it's just kind of how things shake out sometimes. So it's very normal in a Swiss to win and then lose and then win and then lose, because that's just how the pairings work. They try to pair you with people of similar strength. So when you lose, you'll play someone that probably also lost. And when you win, you play against someone that also won. And that's what makes it balanced in a way. Landon, good to see you. It is indeed round 6. Her score right now is 2 out of 5. Exactly, Azura. I really appreciate her helping me out. And if I can help her out, then that's great. Yeah, 2 out of 5 is good, for sure. Especially considering that she's got a lot on her plate. Besides streaming, it's also her first time doing 2 classical rounds in a day. So this is the last day. It's the last game of the tournament, which is also already exhausting. Takes a lot of energy. And yeah, it's apparent she's taking a lot of time here because she's in a pickle. So luckily for her, she could find bishop f5, and that helps keeps things fairly interesting. The problem you don't want to make is you make a mistake early and then you start using your time when it's too late. So it's always hard to know when you've made a mistake, because obviously if you would have seen it, you wouldn't have made it. So usually if there's like a trade or a capture, there's potential for problems. Moonzs has found the best move here. She's found bishop f5, which is fantastic. So now there's a lot of ways that white could go wrong. So that's exciting. We could see what white does here. White could simply just get the queen out of the way, and that'll be totally fine. So there's a lot of strong queen moves here for white. And she's going to remain in this pickle. This issue on d7. She's going to have to give up an exchange. Which is better than giving up a whole piece. So we're hoping that white makes the mistake of taking the knight with check early. And then it's again a test for Moonzs to see if she will be able to sacrifice her queen. So we're hoping for bishop takes d7 with check. And we're hoping Moonzs would find queen takes d7 back. That would be exciting. This is the hope from me, at least. If white just simply moves the queen away, then again we're in a pickle. So we'd have to play something like rook d8 or rook a7, just defending this knight. So yeah, curious to see what white comes up with here. White might be very tempted to take on d7. Ah, they've found an unfortunately good move. Queen c3. Just sidestepping the bishop and maintaining the pin and the pressure. So, yeah. The computer's saying we should just give up the whole piece. But I think we should play rook d8, rook a7. And pray for the best here. I think the problem is, you guys, if we play rook to d8, for example, and maybe it's more apparent with this move, rook to a7, there's going to be this move, queen to c8, in the end. So this is actually not only just a good move, but it's a dangerous move as well. So if we play rook d8 and we don't allow queen c8 immediately, you can see the problem after knight takes on d7, rook takes on d7, and then queen c8 is now available. King goes up. I guess it's all the same in the end. We just all trade everything off. So, who knows? I wouldn't know. That's okay. Rook d8 now. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, white's playing this really well. Give some credit to our opponent here, Kip Taylor. Let's see if we can get a better look. Yeah, they're leaning back. They're chilling. That's a confident player there. They know that they're winning. They're playing some really solid moves, and their next move is also going to be a fairly easy one, just taking on d7. That is a pinned knight on d7, only protected by the royalty. The infamous worst defenders, the king and the queen. So, usually you don't want your most valuable pieces relying on them for defense. Pawns are good defenders. You can rely on pawns for the most part. Can't really rely on the king or the queen. So, yeah, the opponent just waiting for the Moonzs move. So I'm expecting the rook to move. So we're already down. Look at the game right next to them. They only have like 3 pieces on their board. That's ridiculous. They playing a blitz game over there. That game is good. I feel like yesterday that game also wrapped up so quick. Look, there's a rook. I could commentate the whole other game too. All right, she's such a king. Has to move it. Goes down. Black inching their way forward. Looks like they're going to try to promote that H pawn. The Duro man. Hey, Joe, do you recommend the Italian or the Spanish for players in the 1400 to 1800 range? Well, I personally play the Italian. So that's my recommendation, regardless of your rating range. I love the Italian. Spanish, I think, is a really good opening. It's a classic for sure. And it's a tricky one for me to even play against still. So yeah, lots of theory with that. Also, Azure, I commentated 2 games with no DGT at the same time for Rachel and Robbie. But yeah, they trade off their rooks, so I think it's just a king and pawn versus a king. And it's a H-file pawn, so I think white should be able to hold that to a draw there. Oh, hold on. There's a second pawn in the equation that was hiding behind the board sign number 178. So unless white has some tricks up their sleeves, this is looking like black is going to be able to convert this. Especially if it really is 2 pawns to none. And that game's going to be wrapping up quick. Yeah, I know. What other pieces are missing? I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, white, of course, always has the stalemate trick up their sleeve, so we'll see. I could look up the pairing ratings for them, actually. Let me see. 178. Oh, that might be the under 1200 section. Indeed it is. Both of those players are just above 1000 ELO. And they're both 2 out of 5. So it looks like, okay, we've had a move actually. Ooh, Moonzs couldn't find a defense. She's played king d8 and she's blundered into this fork, which the opponent just played instantaneously. And I have a fun personal story to share about this exact situation that I've been in. And I know you all might be thinking, Joe, I mean, he's such a strong player. Surely he's never gotten his king and his queen forked. Well, let me tell you, no one is born a great player. Everyone starts out the same at 0 ELO. And so it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort to learn, to improve. And with that comes trials and tribulations and blunders, losses for sure. So I started playing chess when I was 16, when I was being like seriously devoted to learning and playing a lot. And you could see my chess.com account was made like 2012. So I'm aging myself a little bit here. But essentially, I played this unrated high school tournament. And I, like I said, got into this exact same situation where the knight forked my king and my rook. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just got forked. I can't save my rook. My rook in the corner is just lost. I'm going to have to move my king, and my opponent is going to pick up their knight, and they're going to take my rook. So much like Moonzs here, Moonzs, she only has 2 moves. She can't move the king to the c file. She can't take this knight. You can't block a knight check. So the king has to go to either e8 or e7 here for Moonzs. So once she makes her move, the opponent is going to pick up that knight, and they're going to take something. When that happened to me, in my mind, I just saw that my rook was hanging, so I thought they would take my rook. And much to my surprise, they did take their knight, but they didn't take my rook. They took my queen. And in that moment, I remember thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I'm actually pretty bad. Also, look at that other board there. He had the upside down rook. That is some impressive stuff over there. And I actually learned, so you guys might not know this for my, at least the US audience, but apparently there was a difference between FIDE rules and US rules where in FIDE, if you used an upside down rook, they would look at you funny and then probably assume you're American, because in US rules, you could use an upside down rook as a queen. In FIDE, an upside down rook, it doesn't matter if it's upside down or not, it's still a rook, which is kind of funny. But I learned recently, apparently USCF changed that rule to be aligned with FIDE. So I've been told, I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently an upside down rook, even in USCF now, is still a rook. But it looks like he was able to checkmate with it regardless and get the job done. Okay, so Moonzs has found the better move. Well, actually, no. She's played... probably the better move is king e7. No? King e7, knight takes d6. Oh, king e8, knight takes, and she can take with the bishop now at least. So the bishop can finally develop. But yeah, Moonzs is probably better than I was when I was in high school, because I assumed that she saw that her queen was hanging. When I was in that fork, I didn't even see my queen was hanging. I just saw that my rook was hanging, and then losing the queen was a surprise after the queen had already been evicted from the board. So I remember that moment on, I told myself, if I don't realize that my queen is hanging until after it's already been taken off the board, I'm going to have some problems. And so from that day on, I told myself that anytime my opponent makes a knight move, I have to see where it's going, and I have to see where it can go from there. So just to see its moves one move away is not enough. You have to see where the knight can go from where it can go, if that makes sense. You have to see 2 moves ahead for every knight move. And I know that might seem like it's a lot, but that's kind of the vision that you have to not lose your queen from a fork. Because if you don't see where the knight can go, and you don't see where it can go from there, then you're going to lose to some forks for sure. And that's just the unfortunate reality. So you have to be able to, I don't necessarily want to say calculate, it seems maybe a bit harsh, but you have to at least see. And now, yeah, there's this really devastating queen to c6 move here. That's just a fork of the pieces, and there's no way to save that, unfortunately. So yeah, the opponent is absolutely cooking right now. Let's see if they find queen c6. They might just take on d7, but queen c6 is really nice. Queen c6 would be great. Okay, they developed their last minor piece. They go bishop to g5. And yeah, it's not as strong as queen c6, but it doesn't have to be. So this is just a really nice move. It takes away these squares from the king, and it also just maintains the pen. Like, imagine we're trying to stop queen c6. We can't really prevent that from happening. It's not like we can bring the rook here or here. The knight literally can't move. The king can't move. So maybe we just move the bishop back to e7 so that when queen to c6 happens, we can play rook to d8 and defend the knight, and our bishop's not hanging. So yeah, queen c6 would have been stronger, but honestly, I think part of the opening stage of the game is seeing that you have tactics, but realizing that if you could bring in other pieces, your tactics are just going to be stronger. You're going to be better off. You're going to be better developed. They're connecting their rooks, right? So it's like, sure, they could win maybe without the rooks. They could just bring the queen in and just gobble up everything. And the black king is uncastled. And unfortunately, the black king won't be able to castle. I know some people might be tempted to just castle kingside right now, but it's not legal because the king has already moved. The funny thing, though, is they're playing over the board, and they both might miss it. Maybe she'll castle and the opponent doesn't know. But I imagine they both know. But anyways, Paladin Archer, 7 stream streak. Shout out to Paladin. And Stanford Rob with the 3 stream streak. Let's go. Rob has watched me commentate all 3 rounds that I've commentated for Moonzs. Also, shout out to PMD. Good to see PMD in the chat. Absolute legend in the chess community. You had to use an upside down rook if you didn't have a spare queen. Yeah, well, sometimes you're lucky and the queen's already been traded off, so you can just use that again. But I think the official rules, if you don't have a spare queen to use, you should pause your clock, and then you can go and find a queen somewhere. You can always call for an arbiter. But, yeah, sometimes the upside down rook is all you need, even if it is still just a rook. Okay, so Moonzs, she attacks this newly developed bishop. I still think queen c6 is really strong because, I mean, they don't really need, like, queen c6, imagine. If you just take the bishop, you're going to lose both the knight and the bishop. So white's still winning a minor piece. Opponent, they go back to their usual business. They just bring the bishop back. And I like it. And now Moonzs immediately presses g5. And now we see the bishop coming back to g3. And now her bishop's hit. Probably you should just trade. I mean, there's no good way to defend the bishop. If you play king e7, then takes. Queen comes down to c6 now with check. King is forced to move, and then you take on d7 with check. So that also loses a minor piece. If you play bishop e7 now, there's still queen to c6, which is a fork on the knight and the rook. We can defend with, let's say, rook d8, but then at that point, there's this bishop to c7 move attacking the rook, which is really annoying. So if we look at this, bishop e7, or like, assuming Moonzs wants to keep material on the board because she's down material, that's generally the thought process. We're not going to trade because we're down material. So she plays something like bishop e7. Queen to c6 is really annoying. And if we play something like rook to a7, because if we know rook d8, there's bishop c7. If we play rook a7 to defend, there's still this annoying bishop to b8. So it doesn't even matter. After bishop e7, if they play queen c6, no matter what we go with the rook, this bishop's going to be able to attack and remove the defender. So yeah, I mean this pin has been just an absolute devastating effect to us. So that's why it would have been better if she had never played knight d7 and just allowed for the check. She could have just moved the king and been uncastled, which is unpleasant still, but we would not be losing as much material. So I think the best move is to just trade. As unfortunate as that is. Now, that being said, bishop e7, queen c6. Yeah, it's a fork. So we'd have to find a king move, basically. Or a rook move. But, yeah, I mean, white's just winning material. White's winning material, you guys. If we take on g3, they have 2 pawns that could take, or the queen. Probably you'd take with the f pawn to open up the rook. And probably bring the other rook over opposite the king, pinning the pawn. So Moonzs could bring like both of her rooks in. The d8 to f8. But yeah, it is a matter of time here. How do you promote to a third knight? That's a good question, Rob. If you haven't already traded a knight off, then you would have to get it from another set. What if you have a custom designed queen? That'd be pretty cool. You always try to castle as soon as possible. Yeah, there are some exceptions to that, but that is generally very good for your development. And just keeping an eye on that, how quickly you can castle is also generally good. Yo, what's up, Sammy? Shout out to Sammy. Sammy let me flex the Sammy command. Very cool. Dude, what a legend. Good to see you, man. I've been thinking about you because I was playing some Bug House. And someone said that I should play in the Bug House World Championship. And I was like, well, fun fact, I have with my good pal Sammy. Of course I still have the Sammy command. I couldn't get rid of it, man. If I wanted to. No, at one of these days I'm going to swap out JoeBot for just Nightbot, you know, like a normal person. Anyways. Yeah, we're watching Moonzs. She's getting some fun learning experience here at the Charlotte Chess Center, which I still have to go visit it at one point. I was watching Eric Rosen's stream, I believe yesterday. He was talking with Peter, who is the founder of the Charlotte Chess Center, who just was actually announcing at this playing hall at the start of this round that the round was beginning. But all of this to say, big shout out to the Charlotte Chess Center, who is helping the fundraising process right now for Danya's fellowship. And they're also going to do a Rapid and Blitz over the board tournament sometime next year in Danya's memory. So I think that would be a fantastic opportunity for me to visit the Charlotte Chess Center for the first time. So maybe play some Rapid and Blitz. Otherwise, they have a lot of other tournaments that are always going on. I know people are sometimes curious if I will be playing some OTB chess anytime soon. And I might in Vegas. They have the North American Open every December. So in like a month, it's coming up. Technically less than a month. It's always like the day after Christmas. But luckily for me, I like to visit family back in California, which is not that far from Vegas. NM Joe has got to happen. I disagree that it has to happen. I don't even know if it could happen, but I do know that playing over the board is fun, and getting to go to these big chess tournaments is always fun for me. Not necessarily for the chess itself, but just to be able to go and meet people and hang out. Oh, thank you, Sammy. Thank you, 480. Appreciate you guys. Hey, Eskia. Good to see ya. Good to see ya, Eskia. Wish I could be ya. You can't, Sammy. I believe you could. It's good to see you, Sammy. I feel like it's been a while. I know you streamed some, oh man, backgammon. I actually saw someone else that's normally a chess streamer streaming backgammon, and they're also from Florida. So shout out to Florida. Bars. Oh, Eskia likes backgammon. Okay. Yeah, Sammy's like an ambassador for this backgammon website. Oh yeah, Eskia, you played with Asmoata. Who? Sammy, so first off, shout out to Asmoata, Alex, who commentated for Moonzs earlier in this tournament, actually. But I guess Asmoata's played some backgammon with Eskia. Shout out to Eskia as well, fellow streamer and commentator and StarCraft 2 aficionado. Really, he's more than that. I mean, Eskia, some would say Eskia is everything. But above all, a good person and a friend. Apparently also dabbles in backgammon. You're getting back into backgammon. Okay, cool. The Sammy Return to Backgammon arc. They'll call it Season 2. Perhaps. No, who's this? There's this other streamer that I was watching play backgammon. I think it's Jen Maxwell. So I'll give her a shout out. So yeah, Sammy, I don't know if you are still I guess yeah, it was kind of a funny coincidence. This guy that I knew was like looking for backgammon streamers. And I mean, I don't really think there's that many, but there's Sammy, of course. So Sammy, I think, was like the first partnered streamer with, I don't know what the website is. Sammy, you're welcome to promote it if you want, whatever the website. But it's like the chess.com of backgammon, apparently, I've heard. It might also be like the FIDE of backgammon. I don't know. I don't know like the whole backgammon ecosystem and how all of that works. But if you're looking to play backgammon, you can check out their site if Sammy wants to promote it. Oh, so they stopped caring. That's unfortunate. So don't go to that site anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know the site. I'm sure if I Googled it, it's probably the biggest, most popular backgammon site, if I had to make an assumption. I don't know. Anyways, all of this to say, there are some backgammon streamers out there, and there's definitely some overlap with chess. They're like 2010 chess.com. Got it. So they still need like their Queen's Gambit in 10 years. Okay, so Moonzs finds this idea here. I don't think it works, but there's this idea that now the knight is at least defended by the bishop. So the reason why it doesn't work is because, well, our knight is pinned. And the opponent just plays very quickly here. Rook F to E1. Super solid move. What's up, Queen Pawn? Good to see you. E5 is bold, Sammy. It's true, but you've also missed. I mean, there's been a lot of bold moves to get to this point. As you can see, we are down 9 points of material, missing our queen. So, you know, it's tough to find any move at that stage. Unfortunately, the opponent is just too well disciplined. I mean, look at that. How many of us would simply grab the pawn on e5? I know I would. But look at this, rook fe1. I mean, whoever's white's coach is must be very proud. Maybe it's Dina. Who knows? It seems like Dina, I mean, she's got her Russian school of chess going on. Maybe half the Charlotte chess centers in her program. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, just avoiding the temptation of just grabbing a pawn, just bringing another piece into the action. Why don't you? Rook fe1, right in the middle of the board, pinning this pawn to the king, saying that pawn, it's not going anywhere. So, yeah, she should have probably traded bishops, but really, I would say the learning lesson from this game comes much earlier. We're on move 21. It was probably around like move 6 or 7 here. Not to say the trendy thing, but yeah, right here, I would point this move out to her. I would say play e6 and play your dark square bishop out and try to get castled. And that will save her a lot of trouble. So this is just one of the opening principles. We don't want to move the same piece more than we have to. So our light square bishop has already developed. And notice as well just how well our opponent played after we played bishop g4. Notice what this move does. It does a couple things. First off, it pins the knight. This could be considered a good thing for us, right? However, every move has a consequence. And we're leaving squares behind. We've left this diagonal to join this diagonal. The pro is that we're pinning the knight to the queen. And the con is that we're leaving this diagonal. And so white puts both of these together and combines this to the very logical queen d3. Both getting off the pin out of this diagonal and taking advantage of the fact that we've left this diagonal here. We've conceded control of d3. White develops a piece, gets out of this pin, and now the bishop can't even come back if it wanted to, because the queen is now taking over control of this diagonal. So our opponent they've castled, they've developed, they brought their queen out. Like, they could have developed their dark square bishop if they wanted to, but they wanted to immediately address this idea, which renews the knight's mobility. Hopping into e5 is a potential threat because it's an annoying thing to deal with. It's creating problems, right? This knight is pinned. And white's going to try to attack it again by moving their knight. And it causes a threat of capturing twice on c6. And this is where Moonzs went astray. She now plays e6, but it's too late. Knight into e5, and she has to defend her knight a second time. She misses this, and we lose a piece. They find some really nice sacrificing here. And now this is where things get really rough. Our opponent doesn't fall for any of our traps or our tricks. And Moonzs tries to get out of the pin, but now it unfortunately comes at the cost of this massive fork. Moonzs should probably trade here, but it doesn't matter at this stage because anything she does is going to be not enough. So she pushes e5, she gets pinned, and now she pushes e4, which, funny enough, is the best move in the position, but of course drops her dark square bishop. So yeah, that pawn was pinned, as Sammy put it, multiple ways, not only along the e-file, but also along the diagonal. And yeah, at least the whole point of pushing the e-pawn is that the knight on d7 is defended now by the bishop, which is really helpful. So even though we lose our dark square bishop, at least now we can move our king out of the way, which connects our rooks. So there is some positives. I mean, there's always a bright side. And if you look at this game at the bigger picture, and I've talked about this in the other games that I've commentated, is that every mistake and every blunder we make, every loss, is a learning lesson. And Moonzs is still in her improvement journey in chess. I mean, who isn't really? We all are, in a way. I mean, some people, maybe they're just coasting, like me. But chess is what you make of it, as I've said before. And this is still a fun experience, getting to travel, meeting a lot of new people and friends for the first time, and also just getting a lot of this tournament experience for the first time. We mentioned that this is her first over-the-board tournament that she's streaming, as well as her first over-the-board tournament where she's playing 2 classical games in the same day, and she's been doing this for the last 3 days in a row now. So this is the last round of the tournament, the last game of the tournament. And overall, I think that she's been able to take a lot out of this and learn a lot, which is ultimately, I think, what matters. So there's a lot to unpack here. I think this game in particular, I would focus on the opening, just getting the king castled, right? Because now she can't castle, and it's cost her a lot of pain in the position. So yeah, she's played rook to d8, overprotecting the knight on d7. And yeah, I'm hoping that maybe she'll get her king out of the center, and getting out of this pin really is the main thing. So let's see what the opponent has done. Opponent has decided to bring the queen over now. Wow, look at this. It looks like it's a free queen, you guys, but it is not, as it is pinned. So the opponent doing a little bit of a flex here. Now she can't really play rook f8 because the bishop is covering this. We can't move the king anymore because our bishop is hanging. So if we can't move anything to protect the bishop, that tells me that we should move the bishop. So probably bring the bishop back to e6, I think, is a very smart move, because it does a couple things. First off, it just immediately saves the bishop. That's one, first and foremost. But second off, it has a multi-purpose aspect to it. We're blocking the e file. We're unpinning our pawn. Maybe our opponent will forget that the pawn is no longer pinned, and we can win their queen. Game's not over. We could see some catastrophic blunders from either side. So that being said, I imagine that the queen will probably deliver a check. And that being said, we could still block the check, though, with our bishop, with a tempo, which is pretty nice. So we'll see what Moonzs comes up with here. I think bishop e6 is just a really good move. Yeah, opponent, they're really flexing on us with this move, saying you can't take me. Okay, so we have a counterattack here. Rook b8. This is unfortunately just not working out for a couple of reasons. First off, opponent can just take, and then we trade. But second off, our rook is hanging, unfortunately, from the bishop on d6. But again, I don't think it's like seriously matters too much. Like, opponent could take the knight with check. We could take back, and then they could take as well. There's some really annoying ideas. The queen comes in to f6 in some lines. To be completely honest, my idea of bishop e6 probably just loses immediately to queen f6. So rook b8 is actually the second best move. Bishop e6 blunders mate in 2. So my move was actually, I mean, I don't think there's a move that blunders mate in 1. So my recommendation was actually probably the worst move in the position. Funny enough. So yeah, queen f6 is just an absolutely gnarly move. Very beautiful. Threatening mate next, you can't stop it. If the rook comes here trying to protect mate on e7, you're getting mated on f8 because this knight's pinned. So rook b8 is the second best move. King f7 is the best move, giving the bishop with check. So yeah, rook b8 is played, and now queen takes on f5 is played. And yeah, I guess she's going to take on b5. And then she's going to have to weather the storm of this queen entering her half of the board. So props to her finding rook b8, kind of a goofy looking move, but it was the second best move as opposed to my bishop e6, which is worst move. But yeah, I mean, at this stage of the game, it's like computers finding all sorts of mates. Does it really matter what move you make? Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? I don't know. Chess is brutal sometimes. But it's all part of the learning process, right? That's at least the cope that I tell myself when I lose, which happens a lot. Like all the time. It's like half the time. And that's like a good percentage. No, actually, probably with draws, it's like less than that. But who draws really anymore? Like, drawing is lame. Come on. I'd rather lose. Right? Just kidding. Anywho. We're getting things wrapped up here. Moonzs should just take this light square bishop. Otherwise, what are we doing? What are we doing? Anywho. It's not like she can do much else. So there she goes. That bishop is ours. We've reclaimed some. Oh my lord, ladies and gentlemen. Opponent is going absolutely mad wild here. Rook takes e4. Holy smokes, folks. This guy is cooking. This guy is getting just straight to the point here. Anyways, I mean, it's just a pawn. The point is the d pawn is pinned to the rook now. And let's see. She could play king d8. That is true. That is a legal move. Technically, knight d5 is a move, but it's not good. So she should just take the rook and then let them take here, you know? Big whoop. That's what I like to say. Anywho. Yeah, that bishop pin was so annoying. So at least we've alleviated that pressure on the knight. So rook b8 was a good move. Trying to delay the inevitable for as long as possible. Also, the last game I commentated, she resigned right before mate in 1. I think she should just let the mate play out, you know? It's possible opponent just stalemates, you know? It's like, if you're going to play on, play through. Anywho, king to d8, sidestepping the check. And now the opponent continues with the attack. Bishop to e7 check. And now our king will be forced to move again. But where to? So clearly we don't want to go into any discoveries. This could be dangerous. So probably the king will move onwards and potentially upwards to c7. It's also true, Mantar. Opponent could always disconnect. They could lag out. And flag. Although opponent is, I believe they still have an hour and a half left on their clock from their initial 100 minutes. So, yeah, sometimes you just get these tough pairings. That's another brutal thing about chess sometimes is like, it doesn't matter how well you play. If your opponent plays perfectly, they just don't make any mistakes at all. It's like, and they have the white pieces. It's like, I don't know, man. Just sometimes your opponent has a day. I'm not saying that the opponent played perfectly by any means. Like, especially like, in like a under 1,000 section. But like, you know, you could be a professional grandmaster chess player and you get paired up against Magnus Carlsen and you lose. And you just have to be like, yeah, that's okay. That's normal. That was going to happen. It's fine. He's just, Magnus is doing Magnus things. What more can you do? And Magnus is human. He's lost. People have beaten him. But sometimes when you're on it, you're on it. If you're Magnus. And obviously the opponent is not Magnus. I'm not saying that he's Magnus. I'm just talking. What's up, Postman? Good to see you. What is this tournament? Who is playing? Senior Citizen 1965. Hello, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. This is the North Carolina Open. This is the 6th and final round. They've been playing since Friday. It's been 3 days with 2 rounds a day. This is Moonzs, who's playing with the black pieces. She's currently live with my commentary on her channel as well. So I'll give her a shout out if you wish to go follow her and check her out. She is 500 rated over the board, and she has 2 wins in this tournament. She won in the previous round, and she's closing things out here. This was an unfortunate game. Her opponent's been playing quite well. Her opponent almost double her rating at 987, and this is the under 1,000 section. So the opponent has 13 elo to spare. Probably, if I could imagine, will be improving eventually. Opponent's still quite young, and they've just played this move c4. Now, the idea is that white just wants to open up this king here. So right now there's a hunt going on, and the opponent is just completely allowing this rook to be captured, but realizing there's a pen on this pawn. So white's just really just trying to open things up here. Now the rook could take on b2, but white can take on d5 2 different ways. You know what'd be funny? White could blunder mate. You know, they could mouse slip rook b1. Rook takes, rook block, and rook takes. So, in theory, black is 3 moves away from delivering checkmate. It's that simple, folks. Of course, we won't see that, but it's possible. I'm saying those were all legal moves. What's her channel called? It's Moonzs with a ZS at the end. I've given her a shout out, but I can also share her channel link as well. But yeah, she's been playing this tournament since Friday. She traveled. She flew to the Charlotte Chess Center to compete and stream her games, which is her first time streaming. Also her first time playing a 2-round-a-day classical over-the-board tournament. So, as you can imagine, in the final day, in the final round, it can be quite tiresome. She did play earlier today, and she did win. So she does have 2 wins out of her 5 games played. And this is her 6th and final game. She's potentially trying to resist, put up some defenses here. But unfortunately, it seems that her opponent is going to be able to convert this, trying to get their last rook into the game, potentially. But, you know, with 2 rooks remaining and a king without a flight square, there have been worse blunders made in chess history. So, yeah, I think she should take on b2. I think she should take on b2, and then she could double her rooks. And then the opponent will probably make a flight square. Yes, you guys are talking about Emily. Emily plays chess. I have commentated for her before. She does attend the Charlotte Chess Center regularly. But she is not playing in this tournament. She had family visit for Thanksgiving. So she's spending some time with family, which is always very important and nice. So happy holidays to my friends in the States. This is a holiday weekend for us, technically. A lot of people doing some traveling. And then you have a lot of people playing chess, which is very cool. And this wouldn't be the only tournament that happens near a holiday, as there's the North American Open in Vegas, which happens the day after Christmas. Senior citizen following Moonzs. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I'm sure Moonzs will be streaming more. This is her first over-the-board tournament being streamed, which is very cool. And she's there with Jay Dizzy and Dina and the Chess Sharks, who I believe are also competing and streaming. If you guys want to check them out, we'll probably raid one of them after this game. We've been raiding Jay Dizzy after. And Jay was one of Dina's students during Coach Champs. So I believe this is also Jay's first time meeting Dina, which is really cool because they've been doing lessons online for quite some time. So beyond the chess, there's a lot of people meeting for the first time and other social activities, which could be very fun, especially on this last day. Typically, between rounds, you don't want to have, too much of a party or stay up too late, because you will have a next round the next day. And these rounds have been starting in the morning because you're doing 2 rounds in a day. But on the last day, after your last game, usually that's a good time to loosen up a bit and have some more fun. because you don't have to get up for another round the next day. Although you might have to get up and travel, but that's all part of the fun. Unless you're like a pro chess player, in which case chess is business. No, okay, she does take on b2, which allows white the opportunity to blunder a back rank mate. So we'll see what happens next. Opponent probably will take on d5 in some way, shape, or form. But mind you, there's no checks taking on d5. So it's possible that black can double their rooks, and they have one last chance at creating a blunder for their opponent. We can go for this back rank mate stuff. You never know. So we shall see what white does. White, sometimes it's tough when you have so many ways to win. You get what's called move paralysis. There's too many good options. So who knows what white will do? There's no one clear way forward. Okay, they simply take the pawn with the queen, which is the best move. And now Moonzs, she should go for the back rank mate. She should go rook h to b8. And the sad thing is, there's so many things wrong with this move. First and foremost, you can get skewered and lose your rook. The second thing is, even if we're allowed to get this back rank check, it's not even mate. The opponent can just block with the rook, and the rooks will reconnect and defend each other. That's the cruelness. The opponent could get her hopes up. Just block with the rook, the back rank check. Or they could blunder mate. They could. Yeah, the self-defeating prophecy, senior citizen. We could give her that feedback, but I'm sure she's not super serious about that. So but I agree with you. It's always good to try and remain positive. That being said, she has won 2 games in this tournament, which is great. I've missed both of them, unfortunately. I've been getting the tough pairings. Although the game I watched yesterday was quite close. She had a couple of good chances against a higher rated opponent as well, over 300 rating higher than her. So she will grow, Travis. I agree. She's improving slowly but surely. I mean, she's made some tremendous progress in this tournament, I'd say. So she'll probably gain rating. Even if you lose 4 games. I mean, like, this opponent is almost double her rating, right? So she was able to beat at least 2 opponents. So we'll see. I don't know what their ratings were. I could probably look it up, but okay, looks like we have an arbiter settling a dispute. What's going on here? I can't tell. Yeah, we were watching board 178. That one wrapped up super quick. That was fun to watch. The opponent with the black pieces promoted to an upside down rook, which is always fun. And I was saying, it used to be the case with USCF rules that an upside down rook is a queen, but I believe it has been changed recently to now align with the FIDE rules that an upside down rook is still a rook. Okay, and we see the arbiter's still there. White made their move and now is sharing the score sheet for their opponent. So it looks like we have some notes being copied. Is there a standing spreadsheet or anything? Let me share this link that I was able to find. If you Google the North Carolina Open 2025 pairings, this is what you'll find. So there's also a standings tab. So let's see. It looks like she beat an 841 in round 3. And then she beat someone unrated in round 5. So yeah, beating an unrated player, that is kind of tough because I don't think that necessarily impacts your rating. Or perhaps it depends on their results. The unrated player beat a 744 player. So that is interesting. But yeah, I think she should just double her rooks and pray. Right? Like, you're losing no matter what move you make. There's no moves that win for black. So even if your move loses, it's not like it was going to be different than any other move. So there is a world where she doubles her rooks and she can get a back rank mate. So you might as well allow for that possibility and give yourself a chance. Sure, it loses. Sure, it doesn't work. But neither did anything else. So you might as well try. That's my take. Call me crazy. But also, you know, the game's wrapping up here. You have 3 pieces left. Move the one that hasn't moved yet. You know, that rook in the corner, he's been feeling so left out. Might as well do him a courtesy. Ah, she brings her rook back. She's guarding against the check on d6. So she's opting to fight for another day. Defense here. Which, like, I mean, practically it's probably safer to do this. I mean, she could still double later, right? That's what we all tell ourselves. That being said, opponent can push our rook away from here. So the idea is that we're covering d6. All right, let's see what opponent goes. He's looking like he's making a flight square. He might just push a pawn, which would be kind of passive. So he's reconsidering now. He's like, should I just make a flight square? Or should I do something? Oh, rook's coming in now. Rook's looking to trade. So yeah, I mean, we can try doubling now, but then we're gonna see just a trade. So white is circling in like a shark in the water that smells blood. The king is getting closer and closer to checkmate. White just removing the defenders slowly but surely, piece by piece. Now is it time for her to double her rooks? Probably. So she at least keeps some defense over d6, I guess. If white trades rooks. And even with one rook, she could still back rank mate. She only needs one. White could blunder and lift their second rook at some point. So let's see. Let's see. I think she should bring her other rook. Rook h to b8. Yeah, I mean, there's always stalemate chances. She has to get rid of the pawn pushes on the king side. But I think the opponent's too strong. I don't think they will blunder. So, I'm just saying. If there's any hope to be had, first you hope for back rank mate. And then, once your opponent, once both your rooks get traded off, then you can hope for stalemate. So it's kind of like one step at a time here. So the problem is if she avoids trading rooks, she's just conceding too much control, too many squares. It's why she brought the rook back to begin with, is to help defend her king. So if she leaves her rook's post now, she's surely getting mated. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter what she does now. She's still getting mated, but she could at least double her rooks, maybe try for a back rank mate, maybe trade one pair of rooks, but still help defend your king a little bit. Otherwise, I mean, she might be considering just trading rooks now, but the whole point of rook b6 was to guard d6, I believe. The bishop and the queen are converging here. So if we trade here, queen takes, and then try to bring the rook over, we're still conceding d6. So rook hb8 makes the most sense in my imagination here. The computer says it's forced mate in 6, taking or playing h5 or g4. So it really doesn't like rook hb8, which was still mate in 6. There's still bishop to d6 check. So we'll see what she does. What about rook b7? Okay, she's doubled. If rook b7, then still bishop d6, and this is now mate in 4. So you go from mate in 6 to mate in 5. Or no, mate in 4. And here it doesn't matter. Anything you do is mate in 1. Queen c7. If we go here, then there's queen c6. Here, and then the same thing. So yeah, we don't want to give up this rook post. So we play rook h to b8. And now she's threatening the back rank check. White is one blunder away from mate in 2 the other way. Now their best move is bishop d6. They could also just take on b6. They could also just make a flight square. They could also even just completely allow the back rank check, and from there either get mated or block. And oh my goodness, guys, Moonzs just shot up in her chair. Rook d6 was just played. You guys, I'm not even making this up. She actually has mate. She's even looking at him. She's laughing. Guys, this is absolutely amazing. I almost can't believe it. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, what a turnaround there. That is amazing. Another handshake just to finalize. I mean, White just became complacent, and I mean, this is why we don't resign. This is why we try. This is why we believe in ourselves. That's just amazing. That's something beautiful, man. I mean, I couldn't have scripted it better. That's also why you want to give checks, by the way, for the record. That is also why you want a flight square. That's also why you should trade rooks. I mean, there's so many. She can't believe it. Oh, it's incredible. So that we might have just witnessed her best win of all time. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to ask her. That opponent was 987, and they're playing in the under 1,000 section. So there's really not that many players that she could have even played that are stronger rated than that. Oh, there's a big smile there. And yeah, what a game. Oh, that's just great. Yeah, opponent just blundered back rank mate. Yeah, he did resign. He resigned after this was the last move of the game. Rook B1 check. Let's go. What's up, Chess Saibo? It happens to, I mean, it doesn't matter how good your tactics are or how good your opening is. If your end game is, if you can't convert, if you can't mate, it's like, what good is anything before that? So it's like if you're taking a college class and you fail the midterm, you fail the second midterm, you don't do any of the homework, but you show up on the day of the final and you get 100% and you pass the class. That's like basically what we just witnessed here in the form of a chess game. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I mean White had so many different checkmating ideas. It all starts with a check or even just trading rooks. Even honestly, they could have just made a flight square and it would have been fine. But with the last two rooks on the board, she doubled them and she put them to good use. I mean, that's all it takes. And what an incredible finish. Okay, interview. Let's see. Oh no, Pizza Racer. That's brutal. But I mean, still, I mean, every mistake, every blunder we make, it's a learning lesson. The escape hatch, the Ukraine. That's nice. The escape pod. Okay. Hello.
Oh my God.
Congrats.
That was so bad, but I cannot believe I won that. Talked to these guys, I won that. They're like, what?
That's incredible. Yeah,
What
no.
the hell?
It doesn't matter, how you start. It matters how you finish.
That was crazy.
That was amazing.
I have no words. Because he was really close.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he played a really good game, but he threw it all away with one move.
Yeah, what the heck? I'm shocked.
That was incredible.
It's literally, what the Because the thing is, I was so mad because I could have stacked my rooks like that so much sooner, but I was just so screwed. And I never normally put my bishop out like that when I'm playing the Caro-Kann. I normally just let it be stuck because eventually it'll open up and I'm like, it's fine. It's just for later bishop. Then I was like, okay, no, I have the chance. I'll do it. Never doing it again. Never doing it again. Because I can't unpin the knight if I put the pawn there. And that pin ruined my life.
Yeah.
That pin ruined my because there's that trap too with if you don't have the bishop, or I don't remember exactly all the moves, but I know it leads very easily to losing your queen. I've fell victim to it before. I don't remember the sequence of moves, but if they take that knight, you take with the pawn. I don't remember what it was, but I remember someone saying, "Be careful of this because it happens," and I was so scared that was going to happen. And I was just trying to find a way to defend the knight more, because I knew that I would be cooked if I didn't. Sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
I
can't.
think
I have no words.
there's a lot to take away from this game for sure, and I think that I would focus mainly on the opening in this one with your
Yeah, that was
development.
terrible. That was so bad. Like I know. I knew, and that was the thing. I was trying so hard to get my bishop out, and I was like, "Do I fianchetto it?" But I was like, "No, I don't want to do that. I don't know why, but I really didn't want to do it." And yeah, I trust me. I was so behind, and I don't know. Yeah, there were so many. Yeah, that I knew that from this. Like once it got to the point where I was like doing really bad, I was like, I just developed way too slowly, and I knew he was going to bring his knight up there. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't even know what I was doing, but there were so many moments when I was like so mad at myself. I'm like, this was such a bad opening. And it's stupid too because I know how to play that opening. Like I've played it so many times and I just did everything wrong. Um, but whoa,
Yeah. Well,
I'm speechless.
yeah, it's an absolute whirlwind. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
complete 180. You're losing the whole time until literally
The
just the
whole
last
game.
move.
I was like, I literally asked him, I'm like, because I was so confused why he did that. Because I've not felt great like the second half of the day. I don't know if you could tell, but I was like rubbing my eyes. I'm so tired. But I was just like my brain wasn't working, and I looked at him like I'm not in check, right? And he's like, no. And then I realized, and I'm like, oh shit, okay. Like I was like that confused by that move because he was playing so well. I literally was like, am I missing something? Because why did you do that?
Yeah. I mean,
That was how shocked I was.
not only did he not play a check, but he also moved his rook off the e file, which like if he
Yeah.
had left his rook there, he could block your check, so it wouldn't have been a
Yeah,
back rank. But no,
exactly.
I
And that's
mean,
why, yeah. And then when I freaking lost my queen, I was like, no, I did. You want to know what's worse is when that fork happened, I didn't even see that he was attacking the queen. I was like, oh, there goes my rook. And then I was like, oh, just kidding. There goes my queen.
it's really funny because I was just telling the story I've told before, but that same exact fork happened to me, and that same exact thing happened to me where I saw my rook was hanging, but then I didn't see that my queen was hanging.
And I was just trying to get the king out of that pin so I could do something and be able
Yeah.
to use the knight. And I just shouldn't have picked that square. I don't remember why I didn't move it up. Oh no, I didn't move it up because I didn't want to block the bishop. But I honestly should have just done that and then fianchettoed the bishop and then moved the rook out and then put the king, like just castle by hand.
Well,
Because then that fork wouldn't have happened. And then I could have just taken the knight. No, I couldn't because could I have taken? I don't remember. But I feel like maybe then I could have just taken the knight with the king. I think I remember thinking, oh, nice job, Harley. You walked into a fork. I haven't done that since I was like 300 elo. I did that so many times. All the
yeah,
time.
no, I mean, I've done the same exact thing.
Oh,
And like I learned after that, I have to just see everywhere that the knight can go and like
yeah.
where it can go
Yes.
from there. So,
Yep.
yeah, I definitely recommend rewatching that moment because I give the
I
same exact story.
absolutely will. Yeah, like okay, yeah. I'm literally speechless. Wow. That was
Yeah.
really satisfying, I have to say.
Well, you've completed your tournament 3 out of 6. Congratulate
I
you.
know
You end day 3 with back-to-back wins.
I know that's crazy. Like my brain is like, whoa, what the heck?
Yeah, that's awesome. So
I'm so
congratulations. So
thank you. Yeah, like what the heck?
now that the tournament's done, what are you gonna do to celebrate?
I think we're gonna do. I don't exactly know what the plan is. But I know we're gonna go out tonight, like get food and maybe have some drinks. We don't actually have like a plan, but we just said we're doing stuff tonight.
Yeah, you should
We're gonna have fun.
celebrate.
Yes. And I think a few other people, like they're playing the Masters, are gonna come. It's gonna be an adventure.
Very nice.
I'm
And you'll be
excited.
traveling back.
Tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow evening. So it's not. So we have like tomorrow, like
Nice.
morning and early afternoon to like maybe get some other adventures in.
Very cool.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you
Well,
again for commentating, especially last minute, because my friend, he thought it was 4 p.m. because yesterday I asked if he wanted to do 4 p.m. and I was like, no, or not yesterday, Friday. No, which
mhm.
day? No, none of the days. I think I just told him there was a 4 p.m. Regardless, I was like, no, that's yesterday. And he's like, oh, okay.
Well, it
So
was a
thank
lot of
you again. I
fun.
very much appreciate it.
Of course.
Yay.
Thank
Yeah, that was
you.
a terrible game. I'm excited to look at the PGN of that because that was crazy.
Yeah, I'm happy to review it as well.
Yeah, we should plan a stream together and go over all of them. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, just let me know when you're back and situated and
Yeah,
ready.
for sure.
Um,
I will.
it's also really helpful to go over it like right after you played.
Yeah, true.
So
Hang on. Let me. God, I wish I had. Oh, you know what? Wait, I do have headphones. I'm an idiot. All right, hang on. Let me.
you're not an
Oh
idiot.
my God, I've had these entire time, and every day I'm like, I wish I had headphones. They're wired
Actually,
headphones though, but I mean, hey, they do it.
so you had a couple follows, and you also had
Oh,
thank you to Seat 70 for the 100 bits to Moons.
sweet. Thank you. Wait, hang
Hmm.
on. Let me hear you. I plug my headphones in. Okay. Oh my God, this is so much better.
Hello.
Oh wait, why can't I hear? Oh, there we are. Yay! Oh my God, so much better. I can actually hear you now. Here, I'll turn my camera on.
Very cool.
Wait, look what we have here.
Ooh, hold on. I
We
gotta
have
put
what?
you guys on first.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, fair.
wait.
It's putting us on the screen.
There you
That's
are.
cool. Whee! It's crazy it's already over.
What
I
up?
know.
I'm shook.
I feel like
It's funny, she finished like 2 seconds after I did.
Mhm.
Crazy. Crazy, crazy.
Wow.
Wow.
How's it going, Jay? How are your games going?
She can't hear. Hang on.
Ah. Hi,
Wired
Jay.
headphones.
Yo,
How'd you finish the tournament?
I lost.
Ooh.
She got me with like a discovered check.
Oh.
I was putting the king to work, but then I was like, oh wait, he can't take when he's in check.
Ah.
Double check.
But you know what? I did get myself out of a sticky situation in the beginning that I was proud of because I feel like in the past I would have just like fallen into it. So she got me with the double check. If I remembered that was a thing, I think I would have been
I've
okay.
lost. Actually, I
But
didn't even know I won a game once because of that. I was like, wait, I win? Oh.
so, yeah, I mean it is what it is.
You
Yeah.
got 3 out of 6?
3 out of 3. Yeah.
I got 3 out of 6 too. We're
Twins.
Twins.
That's awesome.
Twins.
Yeah. Congratulations to both of you. I'm sure it was also a lot of fun.
It was fun.
Did you want to see Moonz's last game? We're about to go over it.
You actually need to see this.
Sure.
We can go in here instead. No, Jay, you're gonna be like, Harley,
Okay.
what? It's when I walked in, I told Kaden I won this. He's like, it was so. You know what?
Should we just watch it or you want to watch it on the stream?
No, he's gonna go over it on the stream. Hang on. All right, hang on. Let me get it. Oh, there you are. Let me. Hang on one sec. How do we do this? I feel like we can do it.
You can just watch it.
I'm not
Or
here.
maybe I could share my screen on Discord.
Oh, that would be so much easier because then it's not delayed. Hang on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn the camera off so it's easier because the phone camera sucks. Okay, hang on. All right. Do you want to sit down?
Yeah.
I want to.
Oh, no.
Do you want to switch sides?
Does that work?
Yeah, I can hear it. Can you not hear?
No, because I know there's a way to put it in like.
Here, switch. Left ear, right ear. There you go.
I was like, we're doing it wrong.
So it might be small, and I apologize.
Okay, that's totally fine.
But
You're not ready.
Let's just
okay,
watch.
so she's playing the Karo Khan here. And honestly, all is well. I would say until about this moment right here, you should just play e6 and
Yeah.
get the bishop out somewhere.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't move the same piece twice at the
I know,
opening,
after I did
especially
it, I
when
was
this
like, what
piece
have I
hasn't
done?
developed. And you might have been worried about like knight e5. You just play rook c8 and you're fine. So this is a really good move by the opponent, getting out of the pen and also just taking away the space that you left behind, and also just renewing their knight e5 idea. Here's really the last time you should play b5. If you want to play b5, you should do it now. After this move, you should play rook c8 or move the queen somewhere to you just need to protect this again, because now after b5, they take your intermezzo.
Yep.
and then they sacrifice on b5, and now you're in a really tough spot.
Yeah.
Is that what
So
happened?
No.
yeah,
Oh.
this
that
is
is what
this
happened?
is what happened. Yeah,
Oh, this is the
Oh,
game.
okay.
This okay.
This
Well, I
is
wasn't
the
sure 'cause,
game.
like sometimes when you're
Oh,
analyzing, I
yes,
don't
you're
really
right. I
know
do
what's going on.
yeah. So here you can't move the rook, you can't move the knight. You can play bishop f5.
I did that
Otherwise,
later. I was trying
yeah.
to avoid the knight moving and then the check.
It's really ironic though, because avoiding that makes things worse, unfortunately.
Cool.
So the reason why you can't move the knight is because the knight defends the bishop, and knight e5 is the discovery, and the bishop's hanging.
Wait, but is someone? No one's attacking her light squared bishop though.
Not yet.
But wait,
So
so she technically could move the knight, no?
well, that's exactly what she does. The problem is now knight e5 is a double attack, because now, even though it's not a
But at
check,
least
No,
because she's pinned.
so here she can play
Oh.
bishop f5, which she does. This is a very important move. And
I
here
thought about it for so long.
there's a lot of ways that white could go wrong. Like they could just take on d7, and then we just actually can take back, leaving our queen hanging because their queen's also hanging. So there's a lot of lines where black can actually get out of this and be okay. But white has to mess up is the problem. So obviously they don't mess up. They're playing really well. They play here, and now there's no really good way to defend the knight.
You can't put your rook on
We can-
D8.
I thought about it.
Yeah, we probably should just defend with. We'd have to give up an exchange, and we're already down
You
2
could
pawns.
also. What if you also just developed the dark squared bishop awkwardly and then castled?
There was a reason I didn't. I
Well,
don't remember why.
we can't castle though because it's with check.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we
well,
just. So I do think the best move is rook d8.
I thought about that.
But we do have to give up an exchange, which is unfortunate. So yeah, probably the best move is to just defend and give up the rook. But yeah, here's where
Oh, sorry, girl.
we blunder the fork. So yeah, probably better was just developing the bishop, but
Yeah.
we
Did they
blunder the
fork on
fork.
F? Oh.
Yeah. So it's funny, Moons and I had the same experience. I was saying a tournament that I played in high school. This happened to me, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm losing my rook." And then they take my
No.
queen instead.
Oh. Well, you won though.
So you
I
got to
can't wait to
see
see
how
it.
bad it gets. Basically, here I think you should just trade.
No, Joe's going over all my stream.
Yeah, you push e5, which defends the knight, but
I lost.
this pawn
But I was
is.
actually doing like okay too, and then oh, sorry, I'm on the stream. Sorry.
You're good. What's up, Zion? Hi, Mike. Okay, so yeah, we lose our bishop, and here is actually a very good move. I was saying you could play bishop e6, and you break this pin, and you're threatening the queen. But bishop e6 blunders mate in 2 with queen to f6, and there's no stopping queen e7.
I did think about doing that, but at the same time, I was scared.
Yeah, no, it was
respect
good.
that.
It was good to give up the bishop because rook b8 is actually a really good move. They could just take here, but you're delaying the inevitable. This bishop's really strong here. So they take here, which allows you to take here, and then they're trying to be fancy again, taking advantage of this pin. You just move out of the way. They check you again. Your king steps up, which helps you connect your rooks. Here you take this pawn, which is really important.
Lit.
Here they're threatening all sorts of things. So if you double
Yeah.
the rooks right away, they have this bishop skewer.
Yep.
So rook here makes a lot of sense. You're guarding the square. And then here makes a lot of sense as well. And now you double. This is where they can still give this check, or they could just trade
That's what I
rooks.
thought they were gonna do.
Or they could, make a flight square. But no, they played the worst move of the position, besides like rook b1. But they're both mate in 2. So yeah, rook d6, which
That's
isn't a
it.
check, and also
I was so
takes
Dude,
the rook
that's
off this.
insane.
And then yeah, they resigned after rook b1. So beautiful
Let's go.
comeback.
That's sick. That's sick.
I was so
Resilient.
Yeah, I was so confused when they moved their rook that I looked at him like, I'm not in check, right? Like, I was so confused
Yeah, you're like,
by
what?
that move.
He probably like
This
in his
was
mind
so
thought it was
bad.
forced for
The
some
second I
reason.
put the rook up, he just looks at me and he's like, I I back ranked. I was losing the entire game, and I back ranked. It
So
was insane.
She had a sick game though.
It was terrible. But
I
the
was
end
doing
was
good, but then
But oh
there
my
was like a discovered chat. And I was
God, I can't believe it.
it's okay though.
I can't believe it. It just made my night. That's good. But
so yeah,
Yay!
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Not
I
only
can't
on the
believe it.
game, but also on the day, 2 for 2, and then the whole tournament, 3 out of 6. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm so happy that's how it ended, genuinely. I got half, which is, for me, a first.
The first
So,
of
that's
many to
exciting.
come, and hopefully we'll see you streaming over the board again sometime soon.
Yes, definitely. Honestly, I need to do more tournaments, so it'll be happening.
Oh, and we got an unofficial J raid, as well as Cole and Summerstar tuning in.
Oh, hi everybody.
So, yeah. Last words for your fans before we let you go and get some rest.
Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I'm so shocked that I pulled that together, but I'm happy I did. Ending on a W.
Oh, I missed that we had your camera on.
Oh, it's okay. I was like, oh wait, I can turn it on, but that's totally okay. I look terrible anyway.
No, you look great. This is what a winner looks like after they've battled in a chess tournament.
That was a battle. I was just
So-
trying to survive, and then it worked.
Yeah, you survived, you held on, you persevered, and you were able to find your last potential winning resource, and your opponent blundered, and you took advantage of it.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, we'll let you
Alright,
go
guys.
celebrate, and we'll find someone else to raid. I know we've been raiding Jay a lot.
Yep. Perfect.
So Jay's finished her match early as well, so you guys can go. And yeah, when's your next stream for the fans?
I get back tomorrow, so probably I don't know exactly the day, but during the week, one or 2 days. Once I get back and like get all of my job stuff figured out, we'll be back on.
Very
We'll be
cool.
back.
Awesome. Okay. Well,
Alrighty,
I
guys.
guess we can raid maybe Chess Sharks.
Oh yeah, because Tony's still playing.
Cool. Awesome.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks everyone.
Thank you guys. Bye, Swan. Have a good
Bye.
afternoon, evening. I don't know what time it is. All right. Bye, Joe.
See ya.
Thank you again.
Of course. Anytime. My pleasure.
Alrighty, I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that was Moonzs with the miracle comeback, down multiple ways of forced mate for her opponent, couldn't find it, and blundered a back rank checkmate to end the game and the tournament. And I appreciate everyone tuning in, watching, and being here and being supportive. This was Moonzs' first over the board streamed tournament, as well as her first tournament playing back-to-back rounds in the same day, classical time control. So it was a gruesome 3-day affair, 6 rounds, and she closed out strong on the last day, winning both games, ending with a half score, 50%, with 3 out of 6, which is really good. And she's definitely going to be gaining some rating, which is also a very positive thing. So we're going to go check out Tony, who's playing from the Chess Sharks channel. So if you guys haven't followed the Chess Sharks, be sure to show them some love and support. They're a big part of the chess community online, as well as at the Charlotte Chess Center. So I'll see you guys all over there, and have a great rest of your Sunday. Take care.